Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, this is going to be a ton of fun because it has to do with all of the stuff that has been happening on the map lately, including the road trip skin / enforcer, stuff to do with the cube, and how the galaxy skin might just be connected to all of that and what it means for Season 6. Because I think I may just know the theme for Season 6 and it is crazy. But yeah, we've got a ton of clues to go through, ones that I was able to find and connect together to sort of prove this theory that I really think is likely. And again, it is just a theory as of right now, but really guys, I do think it's quite likely that all of this stuff could have a very good chance of coming in because it just all seems to connect, and you'll see what I mean in a sec here. But yeah guys, if you are hyped for Season 6 and what is going on in the game so far, be sure to hit that like button down below. On top of that, comment your favorite skin down below, because is it the enforcer? We've had some new ones, also the galaxy skin, I just unlocked it and it's super dope, but I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. But without further ado here, let's jump on into it with the first clue, and these are all in order guys. So I do recommend watching them in order because they all make sense together, if you know what I mean. They sort of build off of each other. But anyways, with this first one, it has to do with the enforcer, the brand new skin that came with the road trip challenges, so aka the road trip skin. But he is super important to Season 6, the theory around Season 6, because there's so much meaning behind him. So first of all, let's talk about something important that has to do with the enforcer, and that is his dedicated loading screen. The exact loading screen that came out with week 7, and as you can see right here, this is the exact loading screen. And what's very interesting about that is actually a few things, with the first of which being is that there is not only one enforcer but 3. That is right guys, that is actually huge and sort of goes hand in hand with this other thing coming up. But it means that enforcer isn't alone, and he himself isn't like this super villain in the story. Unlike sort of the visitor, which was like the mastermind behind the rocket launching off and stuff like that, it's very clear that the enforcer is sort of part of a group, which definitely guys is super important because it then asks the questions: where exactly did he come from, why is he a part of this group, and other questions along those lines, which we may be able to answer with some of the other stuff coming up. But also with that, I do want to confirm that these loading screens do for sure have to do with the story of like what's going to happen in Season 6 and the remainder of Season 5, because as you remember back in Season 4, the week 7 loading screen back then had the visitor in it, and that of course obviously had to do with the rocket launching off and causing the rifts, causing all of the stuff to sort of get mixed around the Worlds Collide event. Basically everything started because of that important skin, and he was in the loading screen. So for sure that's what's happening here. But another very important part of this loading screen that you may not have been aware of is that they are bringing back the motel sign. If you weren't aware of it, and I also confirmed this I think on my Twitter, I asked you guys over at TheLlamaSir, that is my Twitter account, be sure to follow me if you haven't yet. But a lot of you confirmed that the motel sign was gone until week 7, when apparently the enforcers or whatever brought it back. So that then begs the question guys, why exactly did the enforcers bring the motel sign back? Well, luckily our next clue might just answer exactly that. So when you unlock the enforcer, once you do all of the weekly challenges, one of the interesting things about him is just like the details that Epic Games adds to the skin itself. So if we go into our locker here and check out the enforcer, as you can see, he has the description balance and order must be restored, which is a huge clue that obviously gives us the hint that these enforcers, or the enforcer himself, is trying to set the map back to how it was before, or at the very least bring things back and sort of fix what's been going on with the rifts. If you also just look into his name, the enforcer, it seems to be like he's some sort of like police for interdimensional type stuff, which does sound very crazy, but it would make sense. If crazy things get out of whack in the world, he's sort of the guy, and I guess also the other enforcers are sort of the task force to put things back as best they can to how they were. So they brought back the motel sign, and they could very likely be putting back a ton of the other stuff in the map. And I mean, just look at this guy. He looks sort of like a futuristic cop or SWAT guy or whatever you would call it. He kind of has that vibe going for him. And of course his back bling guys, his back bling is a riot shield. It just seems very likely that that is his job, and that is a bit of a hint towards what is going to be happening in Season 6. And again, what does that have to do with the galaxy skin as well as the cube? That's all coming up, don't worry. But first we got to go through another clue here. It started like right when week 7 began, and it has to do with Tomato Temple. So Tomato Temple itself obviously has something to do with the entire story. It just showed up. We got so many crazy things added into the game. We got a new emote based around the tomato stuff. Got a brand new variant of the tomato head skin, which has like this special crown on it. He's a little bit more like beat up and ragged, but all of that is super important and connects all of this stuff like with the galaxy, with the enforcer together a little bit. But yeah, when we take a look at Tomato Temple, obviously it is not from the Fortnite period. Instead, it is very clearly from the past. I mean, you've got the temple design itself. It's like an Aztec temple. Obviously, it's not like modern design, stuff you would see like in your city. It's very, very old. And what's important about that is that we know exactly where the tomato head went to. The tomato head obviously went back in time, not just to a different part of the world, like a lot of the other stuff we saw, like drift technically coming from in real life. And that sort of connects with my previous theory that I talked about. But like just looking around Tomato Temple, it's clear that the tomato head went back into like Aztec times or something, and he became like really important to them because all of a sudden this random giant tomato head showed up out of nowhere. And that's pretty evident because obviously the tomato head is made like this king. He's got like a crown all of a sudden. If you go inside, they made like pots that look exactly like the tomato head. There's other pots filled with tomatoes themselves. And again, the brand new tomato head skin has that crown on him, meaning that he probably went back in time as well. But what is important about that is that it just came back when the Enforcer came back. So I think it's a very safe guess to say that the Enforcer or the Enforcers are the ones who brought Tomato Head back into the current Fortnite map, especially since they brought back the motel sign. I definitely also think that they brought back Tomato Head. Now with that, I guess you could also say then why did they bring back the entire temple? Isn't that kind of messing stuff up for the past? I don't exactly know there, but I mean, considering it did come back as soon as Enforcer showed up, it came back at the same time that the motel sign came back, and also seeing that the Enforcers don't look that friendly, I don't think they would be that worried about doing their job like that well. But I do for sure think that that is another thing pointing towards them bringing back old things that were on the map before. Now speaking of them bringing things with them, now this isn't from like the map before, but it is something pretty huge that I'm sure you guys have noticed, the cube. So the cube itself, I think we might make a separate video once we get more information on it and go through exactly why the cube is here. This is more about the Enforcer, the Galaxy skin, what those together mean for Season 6, and the possible theme for it, but it is still important to go over the basics that the cube showed up with the Enforcers, or not like right away, but it showed up with the little like pink rift that apparently they came through as well. Obviously we had the lightning hit a bunch of times, and then the cube showed up with it like randomly, and now obviously the cube is moving along, but I think it's a safe bet to say that the cube is being controlled by the Enforcers or whoever is like behind them and controlling all of this stuff happening. But it also could be controlled by something entirely different, which we'll talk about in a minute here. I don't think it just spawned randomly. I don't think it has a mind of its own and it's just going around the map rampaging at a very slow pace. I mean, yeah, but they for sure could be using it. So leave your comments down below about what you think they're using it for. Are they trying to use it to put the map back? Are they trying to like destroy parts of the map with it? We don't know 100% yet, so that's why I'm going to make a separate video on the cube itself, I think. But I do still think that the Galaxy skin and the cube and the Enforcers and everything that's been happening are connected. And how exactly is that the case? Well guys, I think that the Season 6 theme will be based around like galaxies itself and extraterrestrial life, or in other words, aliens. I think that's a very likely thing to be happening because just look at all this stuff. A giant cube shows up on the map. That seems like something that aliens would do. It's obviously not a human technology. It's obviously not something man-made, whereas the rocket with the visitor, almost forgot his name for a sec, he did for sure make that. That's a man-made thing. That's something that comes from our world, but the cube is clearly not from our world. And it's also nothing that humans could make. Obviously, they have the little teleporter drones, but this is on a completely different level from that. And going along with that, the Enforcers are also pretty clearly not from Earth. Or at least we think they're not from Earth. Just nothing really points towards that. And on top of that, talking about the Galaxy skin, is it a coincidence that we suddenly get a skin that shows like outer space and stars? And I know obviously it's connected to the Galaxy phone, but I wouldn't put it past Epic to do this whole promotion, work with Samsung with their Galaxy phones, and then create this skin for build up to Season 6. They bring in the Galaxy skin, which is sort of themed around outer space and life outside of Earth. Obviously the Galaxy skin isn't really from Earth, but to get us used to that and get us hyped for something like aliens coming in Season 6. And also, if you take a look at the cube itself, like the textures on it, it kind of sort of resembles the Galaxy skin a little bit. It's a dark purple. The Galaxy skin, when you look at it in certain directions, also has a dark purple. It also has like specks of things, which are generally probably stars on the Galaxy skin, but the cube also looks like it has a similar effect like that with its design. It even has like the light pinks that the Galaxy skin has once in a while. Like if you fire at it and it sort of gets angry and like shoots you up in the air, it has those pink effects, which the Galaxy skin also technically has. So I don't know if there's a connection there, but there just might be. But then moving on again, here is possible proof to that, like, aliens could be coming for season 6, and the galaxy skin is connected to that. But if we take a look at the previous season, season 4, and about when that came out, at a similar time came the Thanos game mode, which is pretty interesting because the theme of season 4 was superheroes and supervillains. And obviously, guys, Thanos is from the Marvel Universe, which is very clearly superheroes and supervillains. So it's not impossible that that was part of the inspiration for it, because they were obviously working on the Thanos game mode way before season 4 was actually put up. So a similar thing could be happening with the galaxy skin, and them using a promotion is sort of a way to secretly hype season 6. But then with that, how exactly would they do aliens? What would that look like for season 6? Well, I have a feeling like the process of the enforcers coming and putting things back could instead have other consequences, like maybe other aliens slip through their rifts and get into the Fortnite world and start messing around with it, maybe blow up a portion of it. Maybe that's why the cube showed up. It's alien technology that slipped through the crack and is going to take over the Fortnite world. This is where we can go crazy, guys, and come up with theories. So leave your ideas down below in the comments, but expect like some crazy skin. Maybe we could have more like space looking skins. I guess we did have those in season 4 a little bit, but more so like mythical designs, alien designs, maybe like a green Martian type themed skin. I think there's a lot of things they could do with it. They could go crazy, get creative, and just looking at all of this together, guys, I think it's a likely guess. But again, that is just a theory, so none of it is confirmed, but it's fun to guess what exactly may happen. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this coming up in the near future. On top of that, be sure to check out my previous videos, such as on the left, 9 secret changes in the recent update, including changes to the pump, and then on the right, a bunch of leaks, with some of which that were already confirmed and some more coming in soon. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.